Am I the asshole for cutting my nephew's hair? My nephew, 16, is a female-to-male transgender person. His mom thinks it's just a phase. He came out 4 years ago. He's a good kid, and since I'm a hairdresser, he asked me to cut his hair for his birthday. He had long hair and he hated it. He'd confide in me that he didn't feel like himself in his hair and that he hated looking in the mirror and seeing it. His mom forbid him to cut his hair and still calls him a she because how certain she is that it's just a phase. I strongly disagree with her. Her son doesn't even feel comfortable talking to her about his gender because she either pretends like she can't hear him or just tells him it's just a phase, you'll grow out of it soon. So on his 16th birthday he came over and I cut his hair for him, giving him a hairstyle of his choice. When he seen his hair he cried out of joy and hugged me, telling me he never felt more like himself. He went home and my sister was pissed. She called me yelling, telling me that I ruined her daughter's hair and that I should have never went behind her back to cut her daughter's hair. I simply told her that I didn't do anything that was permanent and that if later on in nephew life he chooses that he wants to grow his hair back out, he can. Am I the asshole here? Edit. Thank you for the awards and all the kind words. I really appreciate this and will be showing this to my nephew. I'm sure you all will make his day. Also, I edited and changed transgender to transgender person. Thank you for correcting me.
Not the asshole. Regardless of gender or the situation, any 16-year-old should have autonomy over their own hair. Yeesh. Also definitely your sister Aita.
Not the asshole. What a great aunt or uncle. It's awesome that he has someone as supportive as you in his life.
Not the asshole. Would his parents have been upset with him cutting his hair if he wasn't transgender? Anyone can have short hair. It's not a gender quality, and sometimes it's more comfortable to have less maintenance with your hair. Your nephew shouldn't be forced to have long hair, if he doesn't want it. He's 16, not 8, his parents shouldn't be dictating what hairstyle he chooses to cut his hair in, when it's his hair to begin. Also, hair grows back. It's not like this is a permanent situation, and can be modified later on to however your nephew prefers. Seems like his mother is also transphobic and unsupportive of her son, and that's not fair to him at all, either. Not the asshole. Even if it is just a phase, he won't ever forget how invalidating and dismissive his mother was about his feelings. Good on you for supporting your nephew. This might escalate his mother's behavior, however, perhaps keep an eye on him.
Even if he was going through a phase, which he isn't, 16 is well enough age to decide what hairstyle. You are definitely not the asshole. His mom is though.
Not the asshole. All the trans stuff aside, which, you're a very good aunt for seeing him for who he is, and his mom needs to wake the fuck up and smell the I have a son 4 years ago. I have never understood parents' obsession with their kids' hair. It's hair, on a child. Almost anything you do to it will need to be done again in 6 months or fewer to remain as it is. Parents, let kids express themselves however the frick they want when it comes to their hair.
Not the asshole. Zero tolerance for transphobes. You're this kid's saving grace, RN. Having people you care about refuse to gender you correctly cuts really deep. I can't even imagine how hard it would be having unsupportive parents.
Not the asshole. Gender issues aside, 16 years old is PLWNTU old enough to choose your own hairstyle. And who says girls can't have short hair? If she refuses to accept her son as male, then she can just pretend her daughter has short hair.
Loophole. You didn't cut her daughter's hair. You cut her son's hair. Checkmate. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. My spouse is also FTM. Does your sister want a dead daughter or an alive son? That sounds harsh, but suicide depression rates are way higher among transgender people, particularly teens who are not supported by their families. Even if your nephew were not trans, it's just hair. It grows back. TLR. Thank you for supporting your nephew. I'm glad he has you in his life.
Not the asshole. Your sister is being so insensitive. He was extremely happy with the haircut, and he wanted it. It's not like you forcibly cut his hair when he didn't want you to.
Not the asshole. Fuck your sister. You just made someone more comfortable with their own life. 4 years and she still calls him her daughter? No, just no. She's transphobic and an asshole. Thank you for sticking up for your nephew and helping him feel more like himself, not the asshole.
Thank you for gendering him correctly throughout the post, and for that haircut that made him happy. It sucks seeing poor trans kids get forced around by their transphobic parents. Absolutely not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Transphobia aside, not allowing a child to choose their own hairstyle is being a shitty parent. Would your sister have the same problem if her child wasn't trans and wanted a pixie cut? Probably not as much. Props to you for being a good support to your nephew, and please keep it up. He's going to need you in the future.
Not the asshole. At least he has one adult in his life who supports him.
Not the asshole. Trans guy here, thank you for being a trustworthy and accepting adult for that young man. I'm certain it makes all the difference in the world to him. Not the asshole. He is 16 and deserves to have his hair the way he desires. Your sister needs a reality check.
I hate your sister.
A 16-year-old deserves full body autonomy, regardless of, well, damn near anything. Not the asshole, he's 16. He can choose how he wants to have his hair cut. Good lord.
Not the asshole. Also, can I hug you? You are my hero for standing up for your nephew. Everyone should have someone as firmly in their corner as you seem to be in your nephews. If they did, the world would be a kinder place in general.
Not the asshole. Transphobia is rank and should never be enabled. On the other hand, what the fuck is with your sister not letting a 16-year-old choose how long they want their hair? Does she live in a century where girls still can't have short hair? It's 2020. Short hair on women has been in fashion since the 1920s.
Not the asshole. It's just hair, it grows back. If your nephew really is confused, which I highly doubt, he can just grow it back.
Not the asshole. But you shouldn't have done it. His mom will be very wary of letting him come see you now, and it sounds like you are his primary adult supportive unit. I would hate for that poor boy to not have someone to talk to because his mom is an evil harpy.
Not the asshole. Some parental edicts desperately need to be broken, particularly ones like this that are based in bigotry and transphobia. You have done a tremendous service to your nephew, and I hope you'll keep the lines of communication and support open for him, since God knows he's not getting those things at home.
Not the asshole. You are a great aunt. I know it's a lot, but have you considered seeing if he could move in with you? His mom seems really unsupportive and like it's a really bad environment for him, and I'm sure he would rather stay with someone who respects his identity and supports him.
Welcome to Am I the Asshole? Please view our voting guide here, and remember to use only one judgment in your comment. Help keep the sub engaging. Hashtag Don, T downvote assholes. Do upvote interesting posts. Click here for our rules and click here for our FAQ. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit message compose to =am I the asshole if you have any questions or concerns.
Not the asshole. You are possibly saving your nephew's life. Trans kids with no supportive adult figures are more likely to commit suicide. You need to keep being in his life and supporting him. Your sister is a terrible human being. If her son did commit suicide, she would pretty much be a murderer. Very disgusting.
Not the asshole. You did great, supporting him in a way that clearly made him happy. Had you not agreed to do it, chances are he would have tried to cut it himself with a less than optimal result, and everyone would have been miserable. Even if it was a temporary phase, which is unlikely if he's known that long, what matters is that it's important to him now. His mom needs to get over her issues, whatever they are, and focus on what matters.
Not the asshole. Your nephew needs you in his life right now. You are the only one, that I know of from this post, that is supporting his transition and wishes for his appearance. Appearance is extremely important for a lot of trans people, and your nephew needed to see himself the way he pictures himself in his mind. Your sister is unfortunately a transphobic bigot who he's not very lucky to have as a mum right now. You taking the reins and giving him what he needed to feel comfortable in his own skin is an amazing and selfless thing to do. You did it even though you knew you'd get backlash from his mumzilla. I applaud you for being a light in the darkness for this sweet little man, and I hope that no matter how she treats you, you don't let his mom get in between him and you. He's lucky you're in his corner, and maybe one day his mom will see that this is who he is and she can't say shit, but people like her rarely change.
Not the asshole. He's 16. He can make his own choices and decisions. Especially about his own hairstyle.
Not the asshole. My very best friend in the world's mom is just like your nephew's. He's been out for 6 years and on testosterone for a year, and she still refuses to accept it. Thank you for being a supportive aunt and loving your nephew.
Not the asshole. He is lucky to have your support. She is being the asshole by not hearing her kid's voice.
Not the asshole. Your sister is a control freak and a horrible parent.
Not the asshole. He's 16, he can get his hair any way he wants. Your sister is a huge AH.
Not the asshole. Every 16-year-old should be able to choose their hairstyle.
Not the asshole. 16 is old enough to pick their own hairstyle.
Not the asshole. Identity aside, at 16 you should have control over your own hair.
As a hairdresser and a trans man, thank you for supporting your nephew when his mom won't. It's a messed up situation for a kid to be in, and he needs someone in his corner. Obviously not the asshole, and God bless you all. Just say you didn't cut her daughter's hair, you cut her son's hair.
Not the asshole. Honestly, the transgender part of the story wasn't even relevant here because a 16-year-old has every right to choose their haircut regardless of gender preference. The poor kid's mom is just a crazy controlling lunatic. Daughters can have short hair too, and her son can definitely choose to cut his hair short if he chooses to. Hope someone takes the time to make her realize that she's gonna lose him forever. If she keeps this shit up, he'll probably cut contact with her as soon as he moves out on his own. As a barber, I love being able to make my clients feel like the person they see on the inside. As someone who is dating someone who is FTM, you're awesome and keep it up. He's going to need you in his corner. Heart.
Not the asshole. Please, be careful with your nephew. His mom sounds difficult for him and he might need your help and support.
Not the asshole. 16 is 100% old enough to decide on their own hair, even if they aren't trans. I'm a cis girl who has always been a bit of a tomboy, but I cut my hair down to like an inch when I was 11 or so, and it was one of my best decisions I've ever made. Also, thank you for being so supportive of his gender identity, especially since his mom is so awful about it. Not only you're not the asshole, you're amazing.
Not the asshole. 16 is old enough to choose your own haircut. Also, your sister is transphobic and you are great for being a pillar of support to your nephew.
NTA, he is 16 and should be allowed to choose his own hair cut. Hell, I am 16 and I go by myself to get my hair cut, and if my parents don't like it but I do, oh well, it's staying that way.
Not the asshole. As a female with really short hair and a brother who has long hair, I feel qualified enough to say hair isn't even really related to gender, so even if he wasn't trans, it shouldn't matter. If he wanted short hair, then he should be allowed to have short hair, regardless of pronouns.
Not the asshole. You're a wonderful aunt op.